All right, Scoop World, TJ Downing back with you, man. Had to kick a couple people off the chat line, man. We got it all taken care of. So listen, stories from the vault, man. We're right here inside of the Buckeye Scoop Vault. This is where they keep all the money. Money Manziel lives in here. He doesn't live at the 9 anymore. He's right here inside of the Buckeye Scoop Vault. This is TJ Downing, stories from the vault. Listen, last week we checked in, talked to you a little bit about Wisconsin, had a little throwback story from the 80s that we gave you. Now, since I didn't really play against Rutgers in the Schiano Rice era, they were doing their own thing over there in the Big East. So I want to kind of give you guys kind of an idea. A lot of people have really been asking us and really kind of vibing since I came on here within the last 2 months about, what was it like when you played? Tell us some stories, give us some of the stuff from the trenches, talk about the behind the scenes stuff. So I want to kind of break down, give you an idea in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, what game week was like for us. So, obviously when Kirk and I have broken down some of the game film stuff that we've done for you guys here over the last couple of weeks from the early games here that the Buckeyes have had some success in, that was our biggest thing. Saturday night after the games, I was a 3:30 game guy. I didn't like getting up early and having to play the 12 o'clock games. I was more of a 3:30 game guy because you could sleep in a little bit and then you had time to be able to go out and have dinner with the family, kind of get out there, have a little bit of fun out on the town. I'll talk about that towards the rest of the end of the week here. But as we rolled into Sunday, which really for us kind of started the week of preparation because Kirk and I, we always wanted to get in there. We wanted to break down that game film. We were ready by Sunday morning to be able to see what it was that we did wrong so that we could correct it. We talked in the week about, to be an All-American compared to an All-Big Ten guy, to be a guy that, did more during these blocking plays and inside of these schemes to get noticed. Film study is the biggest thing. Not only self-scouting yourself, going back and watching your film, but getting prepared to play your opponent this upcoming week. So to give you an idea, if I was playing against Rutgers, for me, my week would have started on Sunday after we get done breaking down our film from the previous game, starting to look into some of the new tape that we'd be checking out, looking at what their defensive line's doing, looking at some different stunts, some different twists, angles, blitzes. Those are the real hard things for us offensive line, going from let's say right tackle all the way over to left tackle and having everybody on the same page. How are we going to be able to pick up these different schemes that the defense is going to draw up against us? Because nobody's going to play Ohio State straight. They're going to have to do something to try and wreak havoc on us. So to be able to break down some of that stuff, and then once we would get done, we would get into our workout phase, do a little bit of therapy, recovery. But I want to shout out a special guy here. For those that know in Buckeye Nation the name Bob Tucker, what he meant, director of football operations. Tuck always fed the people on Sunday night. So you're always going to have a real good meal after you get finished up doing your recovery, breaking down the film, seeing what kind of scores you got from the previous game the day before. And then Bob Tucker would come in and he would feed us. It was city barbecue. It was elaborate. It was phenomenal. And it was how you treat a group of guys that are doing some big things for that university. So Bob Tucker always took care of us. We rolled into Monday and didn't have to do anything. So Sunday night, have a little fun. Shout out to my boy Craig Kempton down there at the Beer Stew. We get done, do a little study hall, and the Beer Stew was the spot to go on Sunday nights. That's where all the athletes hung out on campus. Still there. Make sure you check those guys out. He's a local guy from where I'm at, from where Kirk's at, Central Catholic grad. Check out Craig Kempton down at the Beer Stew. One of the last freestanding places that I don't think has become commercialized with these large corporate businesses that have come in there. So he's keeping the dream alive down there. Mondays we were off, focused on school, focused on a workout, watching more film of the opponent that you were going to be facing that upcoming Saturday. Tuesday and Wednesday, absolute grinders. Now, you're installing new stuff. You're correcting stuff from the week before. You are having inside drill. You have extra periods in the beginning, working as an O-line, which we talked about, breaking down blitz, different protections we would do to be able to pick up anything that they would show us, any junk that they would throw at us. And then you would have to look at a one-on-one or 1-versus-2 offense-defense at the end of practice, where that's really the outside of inside drill and outside of one-on-one pass protection. You do that on Tuesday and Wednesday. Your biggest live look is going to be when, hey, one offense is going to go against one defense. We may just do some of our basic stuff, but we may also utilize some of that new install that we did that was special for that week to see how it worked against the Ohio State defense. When I was playing, we had the best defense in the country. Statistically, they were always in the top 3 to top 5. So if we could take what we were going to do new for that new opponent that week, and we could do it against Ohio State's defense, we thought we were going to have some success with it. So Tuesday and Wednesday, absolute grinders. Thursday, my favorite day, right? You do what we call a shells practice, which is about a handful of 5-minute periods in the beginning where you're just working with the O-line, and then boom, you jump right into an entire up and down the field breakdown. Let's call it scripted plays, how we want to come out in the first quarter, what we want to do throughout the game, maybe some situationals, third and longs, 2-minute drill to finish it out, have a lot of loud crowd noise in there, especially if you're going to be on the road, to be able to simulate all of that stuff. So Thursdays, we loved it. My man 74, he knows all about it. Mr. Buckeye Grove, we would always take, too bad there wasn't NIL money around back then. We would go to Hooters. Thursday night was Hooters night out in Hilliard. Had a great time out there. So much fun. We would stop in at all the local places like Woo Doggies, one of my favorite little spots. It's now a sushi joint down there right on the corner of Renner Road and Hilliard Rome Road. So some fun times on Thursday nights because it wasn't too crazy of a practice. You weren't going too long. You were going to get out there, get out of practice at a good time, do a little bit of extra film study, get hydrated. They would always have propels for us. We'd have another good team meal. And then it was really, you were off to your own. One thing I always like to do, practice visualization, seeing yourself do the entire game. First series, second series, first quarter, all the way through the fourth quarter, visualize yourself running those different plays, seeing the different looks of the defense. I put the little headphone set on, get a little Metallica, a little Pantera, a little Megadeth going. You'd be sitting there, and I'd sit in my room, in a dark room, pop those headphones on, and I would sit there drinking my Propels, and I would have a black vision in front of me, and I would see every play. I would see my opponent. I would see his pass rush moves. I would see the pressure on his hands. I would see the cheating that the linebackers would do to give away line stunts and angles and twists. I would see all that before it ever happened. You see it, visualize it, and then when you see it on the field, it's not going to surprise you. It was a great technique. We did a lot of different things with sports therapy and sports psychology when we were there. So those were good tools that we got to use, good things that I used that really helped me as a player. So any players out there that are kind of checking out Scoop World, seeing what we're doing, checking out the recruiting analysts, all that stuff, take these little tidbits that I want to kind of give you through stories on the vault right here, man. This is inside stuff. So I want to try and help any of you players out there that I can, any of the recruits out there if I can, to be able to tell you some different things that help me succeed. Maybe it'll help you succeed. If you get rid of Thursday, Friday you're checking into the hotel. Get a good workout in. You're doing a walkthrough, no pads, and you're going over to the golf course. The golf course meal was insane. You had the cinnamon rolls, you had the pecan rolls, you had the steaks, you had the chicken, you had the broccoli, you had the carbs. You load up, go back to the hotel, watch a movie, final meetings. One thing they took away, Eric Lichter, I'm talking to you, man, took away those double cheeseburgers from Wendy's. I told my guy Zane out there in Ashland. That's why we lost the national championship in 2006, 2007. Took away those Wendy's cheeseburgers, gave us a couple smoothies and some turkey sandwiches. Wasn't getting it done. Still got it done against the Wolverines, so that's all that matters. Listen, Friday night, it was get some rest, go through your itinerary, make sure you're dialed in for Saturday, whenever the game's going to be, and then it was really go time. Focus in. Skull session, to me, the best part of game week. You go in there, right when you walk into St. John's Arena, locked in, it's go time. It's time for war. We're going to take the field. We're going to take the field, whether it's at high noon, 3:30, 7, 8 o'clock at night, and we're ready to go. We're ready to light somebody's ass up. Saturday night, my guy over Extreme Limo, go check that guy out, Fernando. We always had the stretch Hummer limos, and we were cruising up and down High Street, having a good time. That's what you do, man. When you're playing for a school like Ohio State, when you're with the Buckeyes, it's like being a motley crew. You go out and you have fun. You celebrate your victories. I was able to go 26-3, make second team All-America, first team consensus All Big Ten. When you do that, you celebrate. Scoop World, check back in with me next week. I'm going to have more stories from the vault. We're going to get ready for Michigan State up in East Lansing. I got some good ones. Stay with us.